I just picked up these 6 Tesla Model S modules. They're 6S each. So if I put them all in series, that's 36S total. The Chevy Volt cells were 38S, so I'd lose a little top speed. But with the car not having airbags, you don't really want to go on the highway anyways. With these being 36S versus 38S, I'll also have to reprogram the charger, but that's fairly simple to drop it down a few volts. They're about 22 volts, 235 amp hours nominally each, so 5.3 kilowatt hours. It's 30 to 32 kilowatt hours total, which is a ton of range for the car. I got these from a guy who had used them for a solar setup. He just got hooked up to the grid, so he's not doing battery storage anymore. He's selling back to the grid. These are all sitting at 90 to 95% state of charge and have been for a year. So I want to capacity test them to see if they've degraded at all from sitting at such a high state of charge. I need to get some equipment to do that. So first I'm going to check the fit and the weight distribution of these in the car. The Tesla modules weigh about 55 pounds each, and I think I can fit them all in the trunk. So that's adding 300 pounds to the trunk. So first thing I wanted to do was test the front to rear balance of this with that weight in there to see if I might have any issues. So I got the car in my driveway here. It's not the most level. There's a downhill slope and an uphill slope, but I put the car in neutral. This is where it wants to rest, so I think it's fairly level. I got corner scales under each wheel, and with no battery, no charger, we're at about 1530 pounds. 800 front and about 700 rear. This is the 1976 MG Midget. It's the rubber bumper version with I think the 1.5 liter engine made for the US. The stock weight is about 1850 pounds for the gas car. So now I'm going to add the batteries and see how this distribution changes. I got them all in the trunk. I got 4 stacked high up against the speakers almost, and then 2 vertically here. What's awesome is that I can close the trunk. And they all fit. So super excited about that. Now let's see how the weight looks. So the weight's at 1880 pounds. It's only 20 more than the stock gas car, so that's awesome. But we've got about 40% of the weight up front, 60% in the rear. I could be wrong, but I think you want 50-50. Might be different because this is a rear-wheel drive car. So now I'm going to play around with if I put 1 or 2 modules in front, how does that change it? It's also quite obvious the distribution is off. The rear is squatting, the front is gapped. Maybe that could be fixed with stronger springs, adding a leaf in the rear. Bunch of things to look at. With 2 modules side by side in the front, 4 in the rear, it is now 48% front, 52% rear. That's pretty good. It's still showing gapped up front and squatting in the rear. And now I added a 3rd module up front, moved the charger to the rear, and I think this is as close as we're gonna get. Just under 50% in the front, 49%, and like 50.5% in the rear, so that's pretty balanced. In the front with these 2 stacked, I can actually still close the hood. I'm gonna have to modify this steel bar here that's supporting the motor. So having it run across, I'll have to have it do a drop down a little bit for clearance for the module. So this is actually quite nice. Everything fits. I can fit 3 modules up front. In the rear with 3 modules, there's actually still quite a bit of space. With all 6 in there, it was completely full and useless. But now I can have the charger back here. Still have some space to put some stuff on top. I'll probably put the charger over to the right and run the cord through the gas cap. So then this will all be space also. When I put the modules in here, I'll obviously have to cover up the old fuel filler holes to the ground. These studs stick out almost a full inch. So if I chop those a little, this is for the rear sway bar, I can move all the modules forward another 1/2 inch, which will be nicer. And then I'll also have to knock out this spare tire holder. There is no spare tire on the car right now, and this is a hump that's getting in the way. The edge of the modules comes out to here, so it'd be sitting at an angle, so I'll knock this out so they can lay totally flat back here and be easy to mount.